Hey, I'm Jim Search, and welcome to Understanding Upstate, the podcast dedicated to exploring what makes upstate New York such a unique place. Each week, my co-host Rob Adler and I dive into a new upstate topic to better understand what's up upstate. And this week, we are heading back to Rochester, New York, aka the 585, to clock in at the copier powerhouse known as Xerox. That's right, baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a big one. This is, it's big. It's up there with Kodak, of course.
Yep.
You know?
It's as far as a upstate company that has gone around the world twice. Xerox is in that conversation. So we are going to you're gonna sit at your desks today, Speedy Freaks and Rattlesnake Pete's. Buckle in, because you're about to learn a shit ton about the world of Xerox. Hell,
Jim, when do you think is the last time you used a Xerox machine? Not just a copier, but specifically a Xerox.
Specifically a Xerox?
Big ass ones that are like 3 to 4 feet tall, weighs probably 500 pounds. It's like a nice industrial photocopier.
I would say probably like 3 weeks ago.
Okay. I figured your answer would be closer than mine.
Yeah.
Probably 15 years for me.
Okay. Well,
it's been a minute.
The game remains the same. You just put a sheet of paper on there. You punch in what you want it to do. If you want to one side to two side, it can do that. You want to collate it can do that.
Oh, yep. Always collate. That's my advice.
Sure.
Always. Staple
that motherfucker down. Make as many copies as you want, especially if it's at your job. Do what it will do, friend. And you know what you should do if you're listening to this podcast right now. I can't imagine you're listening to two podcasts at the same time. I feel like that's you're asking for a lot of trouble right there.
I've tried. It's difficult.
Nobody deserves that. But you're listening. You're listening to this podcast right now, Understanding Upstate, and what we want you to do is subscribe, rate, and review our show. Share this episode with a friend. Put a 5-star review in Apple Podcast. Here's the thing. Apple just recently released a press statement about their review system that it doesn't go below 5 for Understanding Upstate specifically. It's a very interesting article to read, but I'll save you the time and tell you that you can't rate this podcast less than 5. And let us.
It's also very difficult to find, so don't even try. Don't
do it. Let us know your favorite upstate location or favorite copier machine or person in the review, and we'll be happy to break that down for you. Because boy, oh boy, we're about to lock in for you, folks. Now,
look, if you don't have a favorite photocopier machine yet, we are going to get very specific about different models, a lot of different features. You will have one at the very end. And in fact, Jim, I'm going to ask you what your favorite one is at the end. We'll both share our favorite Xerox brand photocopier. Sure. If that's not incentive to listen to the very end, I don't know what is.
Yeah. If you make it to the end of this podcast, please put 3 copy machine icons in your review. We'd love to see that if you make it to the end here, folks.
Yeah.
Xerox was founded in 1906 in Rochester, New York, as the Halioid Photographic Company. It manufactured photographic paper and equipment. In 1938, Chester Carlson, an independent physicist, invented a process for printing images using an electrically charged photoconductor, metal plate, and dry powder toner. Now, I know you guys are like, wait a minute, Jim, tell me more. And I will. However, it would take 20 years of refinement before the first automated machine to make copies using a document feeder, scanning light, and a rotating drum was commercialized. Now, that's Chester, right? Okay, he's kind of like the godfather of paper as far as that goes. But Josie Wilson, credited as the founder of Xerox, the godfather of the game, took over the Helioid from his father, saw the promise of Carlson's invention, and in 1946 signed an agreement to develop it as a commercial product. So he saw the vision. He saw the light as it shined back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
As it slowly panned
as it
right to left.
He saw that. And Wilson remained president and CEO of Xerox until 1967 and served as the chairman until his death in 1971. So this is a pure company man. I mean, was he getting down on some Mad Men shit? Rochester, you'll have to let us know about that. Let us know at understandingupstate@gmail.com if you have any fun tea about Joseph C. Wilson. We'll read it on the air next episode. Now, looking for a term to differentiate its new system, Helioid hired a Greek scholar at Ohio State and coined the term xerography from the two Greek words meaning dry writing. Interesting.
Dry writing. I don't know about that. I don't like it. I don't like it.
You think there's some misinformation here, Rob? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm a fan of wet writing.
Okay.
Through and through.
Not for
till
you.
The end.
Not for you. Well, Helioid changed its name to Helioid Xerox in 58 and then the Xerox Corporation in 61. Now, Xerox 914. Okay. Again, we're learning so much here today. The company came into prominence in 59 with the introduction of the Xerox 914, the most successful single product of all time. The 914, the first plain paper photocopier, was developed by Carlson and John H. Desenhauer. It was so popular that in the end of 61, Xerox had made $60 million in revenue, which means that Rochester turned into Vegas, baby. Money flowing in those streets. Now, the product was sold by an innovative ad campaign that showed that even monkeys could make copies at the touch of a button. Fair enough. Which I think for the time, I'm sure people were like, wait a minute, how on earth will I make a exact facsimile of the same paper? Sure. Made it real easy. Simplicity would become the foundation of Xerox products and user interfaces, and the revenues leaped to over $500 million by 1965.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of bread here, folks. Now,
it's a lot of paper.
Hey.
Also, interesting fact, 914, it's an area code for not upstate New York, but Westchester. So, it's kind of cool, right?
It's
No? I'm getting nothing.
You swing and a miss. Strike one. Yeah, you still got two. Just wait for the pitch. Now,
all right.
In the 60s, right? Xerox were the boss of the photocopier market. There was none higher. Okay. The research facility at the called Wilson Center for Research and Technology was opened in Webster, New York, right outside of Rochester. In 61, the company changed its name to the Xerox Corp. And in 63, Xerox introduced the 813, the first desktop plain copier, realizing Carlson's vision that a copier could fit at anyone's office desk. Yeah, here we are, and this is what we're about right now in the city of Rochester.
And you know what? That's an area code for Tampa Bay. 813.
I used to have the area codes at the ready. I had a lot of them, not like Chris, but
sure.
Sure. Now I'm gonna skip around a little bit here, but Xerox's first foray into duplicating as a distinct from copying was the Xerox 2400, introduced in 66. Now, the model number denoted the number of prints produced in an hour. How about that? Although not as fast as offset printing, this machine introduced the industry's first automatic document feeder, paper slitter, and perforator, or collator, as we were talking about before, the sorter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, meanwhile, back at the lab, a small team was borrowing copiers and modifying them. I mean, you're talking, this is like the Wild West of technology. I'm picturing some real badasses.
This is still the 60s.
It's still
the 60s.
We're still in the 60s. The lab was developing what it called long distance xerography, LDX, to connect a modified 813 copier. Yeah, exactly. To the CRT based scanner. I mean, this is, if you're taking notes right now, I'm going to be very surprised at this. All right.
Sure.
You're going to be doing a lot. Now, where were we? The LDX.
LDX, Jim. LDX.
Yeah. Ay caramba. To connect a modified 813 copier to the CRT-based scanner using a special device, Telpac, of the public telephone network. There's so much happening right now here, dudes and dudettes. Now, the LDX system introduced in 64, followed 66, the Magnafax telecopier, a much smaller, slower, and less expensive version, and acoustically coupled to a desk phone. Now, if
do you know what that means? What acoustically coupled?
You got to tell us what is that? Is it like the replication of it?
No, not even. You take your phone, like your classic phone, you know, you gotta hold it with a whole hand. You got your speaker up here on your ear, and you got your little microphone down here by your mouth.
Right.
You take that and you plop it into a receiving device that then shoots. It has its own speaker and microphone in it, and the classic like fax sound you would hear anytime you would pick up a phone. It was transmitting that without plugging any wires in. It would just have a speaker that would shoot that into the actual like handset of the phone and then go to another copier. Like you would have to pick up your phone off the receiver and put it down onto this. So like acoustically, meaning it just, you're not plugging anything in. There's no internet cable or anything. It's just using sound to make those horrific sound, horrific copier sounds or internet sounds. I'm not going to do them. I famously love to do to recreate sounds on this podcast. I'm not going to do that one.
Not here. Not here.
But that's your acoustic transmission.
There you go. And if you're not taking notes, shame on you. In 68, C. Peter, I'm going to say McCullough? Let's call it McCullough.
McCullough, right?
There you go. Sounds like a good white Irish fella, which we're going to talk all about that in a little bit. A longtime executive of Harold, Halioid, and Xerox became Xerox's CEO. The same year, the company consolidated its headquarters at Xerox Square in downtown Rochester with its 30-story Xerox Tower. When it was built in 67, it was the tallest building made of poured-in-face exposed aggregate concrete. How about that, Buffalo? Take that, Buffalo. It is the tallest building in Rochester, as well as the third tallest building in upstate New York. Pretty impressive.
Jim, I don't know if you know this, or noticed this rather, but do you see on our document that tallest building in upstate New York is a hyperlink?
It is. I do see that.
It is. And guess what? We're going to have a future episode on the tallest buildings in upstate New York, because there's a lovely list curated, and I went down that rabbit hole a little bit, and it's fascinating. If you like different photocopier models, you're gonna love our episode on the tallest buildings in upstate New York.
Yeah, you better. I'll be very curious to see what the numbers look like. let's see it.
Well, fortunate for me, I'm the one that provides the numbers to you, so you just have to trust me on that one.
With a grain of salt. It was initially used as the headquarters of the Xerox Corporation. Now, that was the 60s, okay? 1970. Different decade, different era. We're talking a whole new world. Xerox, under the helm of Archie McCardle, introduced the first color copier, the Xerox 6500. Yeah. Different game.
Pretty cool.
We're in a different game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Xerox 9200 duplicating system was introduced in the mid-70s. Originally designed to be sold at print shops to increase productivity twice as fast as the 3600 at 2 impressions per second. I don't know if ladies, if you're listening right now, I mean, fucking, I don't know where your heads are right now, but holy moly guacamole. This is huge. Now, if you think about it, like, I wonder, now I'm thinking about this, right? Like, what was the counterfeit system looking like for money, right? Because there was counterfeit money happening at this point, right? So I'd be that might be a spin-off episode of this. Just a thought, guys. You let us know in the comments if you want to see that. All right. So we have digital printing, right? Laser printer in 1969 from a Xerox researcher, Gary Starkweather. Modified the Xerox 7000 copier and blew it out of the water. He was afraid Xerox was afraid of the product version of Starkweather's invention, which became the 9700, would negatively impact their copier business. So the innovation sat in limbo until IBM launched the 3800 laser printer in 1976. Shit getting hot. And again, IBM. Endicott, New York, baby. Known for stirring the tea, if you will. The first commercial non-impact printer was the Xerox 1200, introduced in 1973, based on the 3600 copier. Now, in 1977, after IBM produced the first laser printer, the 9700 was introduced, eventually becoming a multi-billion-dollar business for Xerox. We're talking with a capital B. Now, I'm going to skip ahead here to 75, right? In the 75 Super Bowl commercial for the 9200, that's how much money we're talking here. Xerox was able to buy out some prime time in the old Super Bowl world. Xerox debuted an advertising campaign featuring Brother Dominic, a monk who used the 9200 system to save decades of manual copying. If only that were real. Before it aired, there was some concern that the commercial would be denounced as blasphemous. However, when the commercial was screened from the Archbishop of New York, he found it amusing and gave his blessing. Relief, okay? Dominic, portrayed by Jack Eagle, became the face of Xerox into the 80s, which I kind of feel like I remember that. Like, that's a weird...
I had the same reaction. I was like, I think that sounds familiar.
I was going to say, this is ringing some bells. Now, following these years of record profits in 75, Xerox resolved an antitrust suit with the United States Federal Trade Commission, the FTC for short, which at the time was under the direction of Frederick Schurer. The Xerox consent decree resulted in forced licensing of the company's entire patent portfolio, mainly to Japanese competitors. And within 4 years of the consent decree, Xerox's share of the U.S. copier market dropped from nearly 100% to 14%, less than 14%.
You heard it here first, folks. The FTC hates Rochester, New York. That's the takeaway.
That's the big take here, folks. Now, as we move into the 80s, we're out of the 70s and into the fun and flirty 80s. David T. Kearns, a Xerox executive since 71, took over as CEO in 82. The company was revived in the 80s and 90s through improvement in quality design and realignment of its product line. Attempting to expand beyond copiers, Xerox in 81 introduced a line of electronic memory typewriters, the Memory Writer, which gained 20% market share, mostly at the expense of IBM. The tech wars continue. Rob.
That's true. There are so many sub Wikipedia pages about like the specific products and developments that IBM and Xerox kind of battled against each other, which we'll do specific episodes on each of those. Don't worry. But it's interesting. At least I think it's interesting. You have these two upstate titans that are kind of going at it with what now seems like a lot of mundane improvements decade to decade in copying, whereas I guess they had to figure out how to add the zoom feature in the copier. But a lot of this competition between the two is kind of cool, which we'll see it continue into the 90s and beyond. Into
the streets of Rochester and Endicott, New York, a pure battle ensues. Rob, we're now in the 90s. Where does Xerox go from here? What happens next?
Well, with the development of digital photocopiers in the 90s and a revamp of the entire product range, this again gave Xerox a technical lead over its competitors. In 1990, Xerox released the Docutech production publisher Model 135, which ushered in print on demand. Digital photocopiers were essentially high-end laser printers with integrated scanners, and soon additional features such as network printing and faxing were added to many models known as multifunction machines, which were able to be attached to computer networks. So again, just in today's terms, that's cool. That's fine. I can go to Staples and get one of those for $100.
Yeah. But, I feel like obviously again, as we can see, this is the 90s with the internet, which I see we're going to get into in a little bit here, certainly is probably going to be a game changer. I wouldn't say probably. Is going to be a game changer.
Yeah, a little early too early to tell where the internet, maybe in 2026 we can officially say if it's had an impact.
Yeah, it's too soon to tell if that's going to change the world as we know it, but we're going to find out.
Hey, speaking of the internet and computers, let's talk about Xerox PARC. That's PARC. In 1970, under company president C. Peter, what did we say, McCullough?
I think so.
It's their official pronunciation. Xerox opened the Xerox Palo Alto Research Center, also known as Xerox PARC. The facility developed many modern computing technologies such as graphical user interface, GUI, which is basically like we have a desktop, right? Before that, you're just typing in words to do things. And this is like they created, having files on your desktop, just having a desktop, which is kind of crazy. Laser printing, what you see is what you get. Text editors and Ethernet. They invented Ethernet. From these inventions, Xerox PARC created the Xerox Alto in 1973, a small mini computer similar to a modern workstation or personal computer. This machine can be considered the first true personal computer, given its versatile combination of a cathode ray type screen, a mouse, and a QWERTY type keyboard. But the Alto never commercially sold, as Xerox itself could not see the sales potential of it. This is very similar to Kodak and some of their developments with like cameras, and then also having opportunity to buy. I don't think it wasn't Instagram, but they had an opportunity to buy a platform that was very similar, like a decade ahead of time. Or they did buy it and they didn't do anything with it. I can't remember exactly which, but very similar. Anyway, the Alto was installed in Xerox's own offices and worldwide, also throughout U.S. government and military offices, and they did see the potential. let's see. Within these sites, the individual workstations were connected together by Xerox's own unique LAN, the Ethernet, which, good job, guys, I guess. Data was sent around the system of heavy yellow, low-loss coaxial cables using the packet data system, which like we use coaxial cables today for our some of our own routers and stuff, right?
I was going to say, I mean, as far as just like the technological advancement of Ethernet, like I'm, as I'm sure many of the speedy freaks out here around my era can remember when this did not exist and then it did, and how we saw like, oh shit, you can like now operate on the internet with lightning speed versus like shit dial up. This is a whole different game, you know, and even just
more than one person can be on the internet, or you can like use the phone and be on the internet.
Yeah,
groundbreaking.
And you can steal more music a lot faster.
Oh yeah. What was your preferred method? I was a real LimeWire.
Yeah, I fucked with LimeWire. I mean, the statutes of limitations have probably passed on all of that. But I mean, look, I still have some of the songs that I ripped from there.
Oh yeah.
To this day.
Yeah.
Same. but yeah,
absolutely. Those are legacy files as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, like, and I still have the mixtapes I made off of all that shit too. So they all live somewhere in the James Jams vault, if you will.
All right, back to the Alto here. In 1979, Steve Jobs made a deal with Xerox's venture capital division. He would let them invest $1 million, which is equivalent to like 4.2, at least in 2023, in exchange for a look at the technology they were working on. Jobs and the others saw the commercial potential of the window icon menu and pointing device, also known as WIMP system, and redirected development of the Apple Lisa to incorporate these technologies. Jobs is quoted as saying, "They just had no idea what they had." It sounds like it.
And in true like cutthroat business world, he's like, I'm sure he's like, yeah, they didn't know what they had, but I did.
Well, in 1980, so just the next year, Jobs invited several key park researchers to join his company so they could fully develop and implement their ideas. In 81, Xerox released a system similar to the Alto, the Xerox Star. It was the first commercial system to incorporate technologies that have subsequently become commonplace, personal computers. Again, this is a visual bitmap display, window-based GUI, a mouse, again, Ethernet, file servers, print servers, and email. The Xerox Star and its successor, the Xerox Daybreak, despite their technological breakthroughs, did not sell well due to its high price, retailing at $16,000, which is equivalent to $54,000 in 2023.
Sure, just give me three of them. Now that you mention it,
Yeah,
I'll take three.
If you were to outfit a Xerox Star-based office with all the peripherals, some network, printers, etc., it would have cost $100,000, equivalent to $335,000 today. In the mid-'80s, Apple considered buying Xerox, but the deal fell through. Or no, a deal was never reached. And instead, Apple bought the rights to the Alto GUI and adapted it into a more affordable personal computer aimed towards the business and education markets, which would become known as the Apple Macintosh, which was released in 84. And of course, first personal computer to popularize the GUI and mouse among the public. And I assume didn't cost as much as $16,000.
I would hope not. I would hope that that'd be a little bit more cost effective, but I'm not I'm not a CEO. I'm not a CEO.
It's me neither. But yeah, again, we set it up top, but very similar kind of tunnel vision that Kodak had that didn't really allow them to see. They made these things first before anyone else, right? Like Kodak made the first digital camera decades before, it ever became publicly released, and they just kind of squandered it. I think again to Apple. Like Apple picked up on digital cameras too early on. They were, through everything I read, Xerox was singularly focused on documents, not necessarily copying,
right?
But just documents. What are we going to do with these documents? We're going to copy them. We're going to duplicate them. We're going to collate them. That's all they wanted to do. Like, computer, get that shit out of here.
Yeah, that's not
documents.
That's not that. I don't see the longevity in this computer business here. But,
No. It's still too early to call it on that too. Internet and computers, I don't know. Documents, they're forever, Jim.
Yeah.
They're forever. I got a folder of them right here that have been sitting on my desk for 15 years. This computer, it's only been here for like 2.
I feel like having an entire filing cabinet filled with papers is far more effective than having it all be on a computer.
It's true. Jim, I don't know if this is going to translate to the microphone, but I just banged on my filing cabinet right now.
Sure. Yeah. That's important. That's
got it right here.
There's paper in there. That's good.
It's true. I'm a real Xerox man through and through.
Company man.
Wet writing and Xerox. That's what I'm all about.
That's funny.
All right, that's a good jumping off point to talk about chief executives. How about it? So as we've alluded to, there have been many CEOs of Xerox, and many of them have looked like they have the last name McCullough.
So we have
and then
Kearns, Ellier, Toman, Jacobson. Yeah. Anyway, go on.
But then came Ursula Burns. Ursula M. Burns was born September 20th, 1958, and she's an American businesswoman. Burns is known for her tenure as the CEO of Xerox from 2009 to 2016. In this role, Burns was the first Black woman to lead a Fortune 500 company. She's also the first woman to follow another as the head of a Fortune 500 company. And Burns remained the chairman or chairwoman at Xerox from 2010 to 2017.
Now,
she began.
That's pretty fucking badass. If we look at the pictures of, I'm sure if we stepped into the Xerox board of trustees and looked at what everyone looked like, to then have Ursula Burns show up, which, as we know, to be the first of anything is damn near a Herculean feat. But for Ursula to do it is pretty dope. So incredible. And her stories, we're gonna get into her story, but it's pretty wild.
She's got a long history with Xerox too, right? So she began her journey with Xerox as a summer intern in 1980 and officially joined the company a year later, following the completion of her master's degree from Columbia University. She worked in various roles in product development and planning at the company for the remainder of the 80s. In January 1990, her career took an unexpected turn when Wayland Hicks, then a senior executive, offered Burns a job as his executive assistant. She accepted and worked for him for roughly 9 months before returning home because she was about to marry him. Well, there you go. In June 1991, she then became executive assistant to the then chairman and chief executive, Paul Allaire. In 1999, she was named vice president for global manufacturing. In May 2000, Burns was named senior vice president of corporate strategic services and began closely working with soon-to-be CEO Anne Mulcahy?
I think we're going with Mulcahy there.
Anne Mulcahy, in what both women have described as a true partnership. 2 years later, Burns became president of Business Group Operations. Then, 2007, Burns assumed the role of president of Xerox. In July 2009, she was named CEO, succeeding Mulcahy. Third time's a charm. Mulcahy remained as a chairwoman until May 2010. Again, this made her the first black woman to be CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Shortly after being named CEO, Burns led the acquisition of Affiliated Computer Services. While as CEO, Burns was named an International Fellow of the Royal Academy of Engineering in 2013. Then in 2016, she led Xerox in a split into two independent companies, Xerox Corporation and Conduent Incorporated.
And they fought every night in the street. Brawl.
Sure.
Anyway.
We'll do an episode on that too. Don't worry. She remained chairwoman and CEO of Xerox through the process. God, you would hope so. You don't want to be CEO of Conduent Incorporated. No. Who the hell's ever heard of that?
I haven't.
Anyway, and we'll never talk about it again.
Yeah.
She was then appointed chairwoman of the standalone document technology company. Again, document technology company. That's what they were referring to themselves in 2016. Not that long ago. Document technology. I digress. Okay. After stepping down from the position in December 2016, Burns was succeeded by Jeff Jacobson. She retained the title of chairwoman of the newly formed Document Technology Company until May 2017, when she left Xerox board and her role as chairperson. But what about her personal life, you might be asking, Jim? Well, she was married to Lloyd Bean until his death in 2019. He also worked at Xerox, as we discussed, and they lived in Rochester, New York. She has a daughter, Melissa, and a stepson, Malcolm, who attended MIT. Burns has been a major donor to the McQuaid Jesuit High School in New York.
I know a couple of people who went to McQuaid, actually, believe it or not.
Oh.
Small
Where
world.
is McQuaid? Is it in Rochester?
Yeah, it's in like one of the suburbs of Rochester, I believe. And you know, I went to school right outside of Rochester, so
that's right.
I will be able to tell you all about that someday, should anyone ask. No, I'm sorry, I lied. It is in the city of Rochester.
Okay.
So, also, fun fact, I was doing a little research here. In the hacked emails of one Hillary Clinton, Ursula was suggested to be one of the potential vice president candidates.
Whoa! No fucking way!
Isn't that wild? Wild.
That's pretty cool. How about that? Well, I wonder if you can read about that in her memoir. Probably can't if it was in hacked emails, but she did have a memoir that came out. And it was published in 2021, so pretty recently. It's called Where You Are Is Not Who You Are, a memoir.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, and
I like that.
Which, like, a little bit about her background is, like, she grew up in, like, the Baruch houses of New York City, a.k.a. the Projects.
Oh, wow.
So...
Yeah.
The title, Where You Are Is Not Who You Are, I think really speaks volumes to the fact that she was the first black woman to be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. That is pretty fucking baller and badass. So the sentiment, Where You Are Is Not Who You Are, I really think encapsulates. That's a great title for that book, and I think a great title for her story.
Maybe we'll have to read it and do a book review episode. We've never really done a book review episode. We've done episodes largely with material from books, but I'm writing this down right now.
We've reviewed film, that's for sure.
That's true.
We did.
Don't bring that up. I haven't talked about it in episodes. We got to get out of here. Can't talk about that travesty of a film. If you're curious, though, go listen to our 2-hour episode on The Rewrite, starring Hugh Grant as a serial predator.
Yeah,
I don't know. Hey, you listen and
you decide.
And you find out. It's a wild ride. You decide.
You make the call.
Well, let's talk about the Xerox trademark next. The word Xerox is used as a synonym for photocopy, much like we say Kleenex for a tissue, right?
Yeah.
Like, I Xeroxed the document and placed it on your desk. Or, please make a Xeroxed copy of the article and hand them out a week before the exam. Though both are common, the company does not condone such uses of its trademark. Oh my God, why wouldn't they? This is great marketing.
I was going to say that feels like real strong branding right there.
Yeah, and is particularly concerned about the ongoing use of Xerox as a verb, as this places the trademark in danger of being declared a generic word by the courts. Oh, that's interesting. The plot thickens. The company is engaged in an ongoing advertising and media campaign to convince the public that Xerox should not be used as a verb. I would love to be placed on that ad campaign.
Yes.
I got some ideas for you. All right. But to this end, the company has written to publications that have used Xerox as a verb. It has also purchased print advertisements using Xerox as a verb, claiming that you cannot Xerox a document, but you can copy it on a Xerox brand copying machine. What a weird, just like, if you're just seeing that ad out of the blue, just like, what the fuck? What? Okay.
I guess.
All right.
Sounds good, man.
You can't blow your nose in a Kleenex, but you can use a Kleenex to blow your nose.
Right.
Or, right? Right.
Not all champagne. Not all champagne is made in.
Indeed. Anyway, Xerox Corporation continues to protect its trademark in most, if not all, trademark categories. Despite their efforts, many dictionaries continue to include the use of Xerox as a verb, including the Oxford English Dictionary. Look, I saw the IBM versus Xerox battle coming a mile away, but Oxford Dictionary versus Xerox? That's a twist. That's a real twist. Aren't you glad you stayed to the end of the episode?
And again, drop those 4 fax machines in your review if you stuck around to the end.
Mm-hmm. In 2012, the Intellectual Property Appellate Board, the IPAB, of India declared Xerox a non-generic term after almost 50 years of continued existence on the register without challenge. And with proof of almost 44 years of use evident, but as of 2015, most Indians still use it as a synonym for photocopying. What was going on in that appellate board that they felt compelled 50 years after the fact, like, we are finally going to set the record straight. Xerox is a synonym, damn it. Put me on that appellate board too while you're at it. That sounds like a great job. The company has also advertised its trademark concerns in an attempt to persuade journalists and others not to use Xerox as a verb. I think if we're trying to do right by our upstate friends, I think we have to do the same, Jim. I think we have to do the same.
In solidarity.
Put that term out to pasture.
And
absolutely.
And just say copy. I honestly can't remember the last time I've ever, and because, look, I've worked in enough schools in my life. I don't know if I've heard Xerox as much as they like to think that it's being used.
You're right.
I'm just saying I haven't really.
True.
I haven't personally. I mean, I don't want to minimize Xerox's experience here, but I'm going to be brutally frank. I don't think. But
look, I'm going to be very vigilant from here on out. I'm
hyper
keeping an
vigilant.
eye out. Yes. Sponsorships, Jim. Xerox now sponsors the Factory Ducati team in the World Superbike Championship under the name of the Xerox Ducati. That's kind of cool. And in November 2024, the Aston Martin F1 team announced a partnership with Xerox commencing in 2025. Jim.
Yes.
I now have to ask, favorite Xerox machine?
Well, they're kind of like...
Which one? Any of these jump out to you?
They're kind of like my children. I can't pick. So it'd be hard for me to really tie myself down to one.
Well, all right. I'll let you think about it, and we'll come back at the top of next episode. It's an Upstate update of sorts,
Sure.
I'm going with the 914, Jim. Xerox 914. I think first was the best. I'm going to go with the OG.
That speaks to you.
The 914.
They're just...
It does.
They've all done so much for so many, so I feel like it'd be hard to really power rank them as far as who's better for me personally.
Well, hey, what would be some things that are better for our Speedy Freaks and Rattlesnakes Pete's to personally listen to?
Oh, man. Well, listen,
future?
let's say you're making copies, right? You're at your job.
You're not Xeroxing anything.
Nope. I was
Don't
very
you
deliberate.
think about it.
I was very deliberate with how I spoke here. You're making copies. You're at work. Your boss is like, I need 700 copies of this single document, collated, prepped, ready to go for our meeting. And you're like, this is going to take 4 hours, and it feels like it's going to be hell. Well, I'm here to let you know there's a lifeline. You can pass the time while you're making those copies listening to Upstate Understandings. That is my very first comedy album, produced by my homie Rob Adler and done up by the incomparable Adam Russell. Go pick up that album. There are physical copies available at jimsearch.bandcamp.com. You can also listen to it anywhere where you listen to music, etc., Spotify, iTunes, the whole nine, digital streaming platforms. It is available. Go pick that up. And then when you've done that, you go ahead and you go to jimsearchcomedy.com. Because believe it or not, folks, I will be up in Rochester, home of Xerox. I may even swing by there. I may spend the night there. Thursday the 30th. I will be there the 31st and 1st at the Carlson Comedy Club. I will be hosting the night away for both shows, the 7 and the 9 on Friday and Saturday night. So come on out for that, Rochesterians. And that is what I have for you. Rob, they've bought tickets to the Carlson. They bought copies of my album. They didn't make any copies of it because that would not be nice. What should they do? Tell them. Where do they go from there?
Let's just say it's 1975 and you just exited the FTC building and learned that they absolutely hate Rochester, New York, and your market share in Xerox just went from 100% and it's going to plummet to 14%. But guess what? All's well, because you got my album, New York Sticky, available at brooklynfrequency.bandcamp.com. You're going to put it on. You're going to forget all about those millions and millions of dollars. And you're just going to be swept away in a sea of delightful melodies and jams for about an hour. And then the crushing reality will come breaking back down on you like a wave, smashing you into a reef. But that hour is going to be pure bliss. I guarantee it. So go grab that album and check it out. Also, check out our documentary. That's a behind-the-scenes look at the making of Jim's album, directed by me, called Understanding Upstate. Link in the description for all these things that we have just talked about. Jim, while they're poking around in the description,
yes,
they can also... I think they might be able to rate or review the show. Is that true?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And they absolutely should do it. I mean, it's almost like their lives depend on it. You got to do it. You got to do it. It's the way we're living out here these days. For the love of God.
Well, you gotta give us a hint for what next week's episode is going to be.
Well, let's just say it's going to be a real grand slam of an episode.
Oh man, I love it. Oh,
yeah.
A flood of memories just came back.
Sure. And if you know, you know, folks. If you know, you know.
Yeah. Indeed. Hey, you know what I know? That I got, again, ahead of time. I may have just scrawled this down 10 minutes ago, but I'm still ahead of the game, coming up with my closing up pun for the episode. Are you ready?
Let him have it. Let him have it.
Well, I gotta go clear up a paper jam in my Xerox machine, so I gotta get on out of here.
Firing on all cylinders, or drums in this case.
Yeah. Indeed.
Understanding Upstate is a podcast hosted by Jim Search and Rob Adler, edited by Rob Adler, and music from Regal Monk.